Welcome back, everyone. Next, we have Medicus Pharma Ltd, which trades on the TSXV under the symbol MDCX and is a clinical stage multi-strategy holding company focused on investing in and accelerating novel life sciences and biotech companies through FDA-approved clinical trials. Recipient of Philadelphia Business Journal's 40 Under 40 Award, physician turned entrepreneur, Dr. Raza Bokhari has developed noteworthy expertise in aggregating and accelerating life sciences and healthcare services companies. An effective change agent with several years of experience and expertise in startup and turnaround businesses in private and public sector. He has a special knack of adaptly turning around financially struggling companies. Raza has, over the years, come to realize the special role of capital markets, private equity funds, and venture capital money and debt partners in executing accelerated growth trends in creating sustainable shareholder value. Raza selectively conducts due diligence for PE and VC funds focused on investing in life sciences and biotech space. Raza has a Doctor of Medicine degree from the University of Punjab, Rawalpindi Medical College, and an executive MBA from Temple University, Fox School of Business and Management. We would like to welcome to the Emerging Growth Conference the Executive Chairman and CEO of Medicus Pharma, Dr. Raza Bokhari. Nice to meet you, Doctor.
Well, thank you so much, Anna, for welcoming me and for such a generous introduction.
We are so happy to have you. The floor is yours. Just call me back when you're ready for questions.
Well, very much appreciate that. It is a pleasure for me to appear before your audience this afternoon, coming live from Philadelphia. I'm very excited to talk about Medicus Pharma Ltd, which we have recently has commenced trading on Toronto Stock Exchange. And as you already defined in your introduction, we are a holding company looking to invest and accelerate life sciences companies through getting them through FDA-approved phase 2 trial. And I want to talk about this afternoon our flagship company. If we can split the slideshow. Thank you so much. Certainly, I want to quickly make a reference to a forward-looking statement. Being a public company, that there are forward-looking statements that we may make that may or may not that have projections included in that. With that, I am very excited to very quickly start to talk about our flagship company, SkinJet, which is a Pennsylvania-based company that is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Medicus Pharma. And it is through acquisition of this company at a $25 million valuation that we have emerged on the scene in the capital markets. SkinJet is a very special company that is trying to advance forward a phase 2 trial to treat skin cancers, particularly basal cell carcinoma, which is the most common cancer, most common and the fastest growing cancer on the planet, and is treated through a painful surgical procedure called Mohs surgery. SkinJet is very focused on fulfilling an opportunity so that we can provide an alternative treatment outcome, which is non-invasive, does not require surgical intervention, and can be treated by using a known cancer agent, doxorubicin, by delivering it transdermally or very minimally invasive way through use of these microarray needles. Microarray needles are cellulose based and they are patented, and SkinJet carries the worldwide license to develop and commercialize use of microarray needles in treating skin cancer, particularly basal cell carcinoma. and have secured this licensing rights from Carnegie Mellon and University of Pittsburgh that carry the patent on this technology. So if this phase 2, after we have a successful completion of this phase 2 trial, which is currently underway, and we expect to begin to randomize our first patient sometime in Q1 of 2024. And if this phase 2 trial can demonstrate a proof of concept and successful outcome, I believe that we would have a disruptive and a novel therapy that could be accelerated and become commercially available for use sometime in not so distant future. So we're very excited about this company, and hope that it gets attention of your viewers and investors that would like to help support us in our efforts. I would like to please flip the slide forward. Just to briefly speak about the market opportunity that SkinJet is participating in. It is a very big market. Basal cell carcinoma is, as I had mentioned, is the most common cancer and also is the fastest growing cancer, and grows at an annual rate of 4% plus. It is projected that by year 2030, there will be 9.5 million procedures, surgical procedures to treat basal cell carcinoma, and that represents a market size of, in the United States and Canada, in excess of 20 billion, and by some estimates worldwide, the market size may even cross 30 billion. But it's a very big marketplace, and our hope through SkinJet is that if we can bring to market an opportunity which is a non-surgical option, which is and has better efficacy. And so we could probably, even if we capture a small piece of that market, that could over time create annual revenues which are certainly north of 2 billion. So this is a sizable and a great opportunity. And if I would use this opportunity to also maybe show a slide that can describe why we are so excited and bullish on this SkinJet acquisition, and are very keen to advance this phase 2 trial so that we can get close to commercialization. So if you can move to the next slide, please. So just to demonstrate through this this layout, the top, the number one picture just represents what basal cell carcinoma of the skin looks like. It is a slow-growing cancer, but nonetheless, it is cancerous, and it must be treated. The current treatment is surgical excision through most surgery that has been there, and is a very effective treatment, but it is a painful treatment. It requires multiple visits to a dermatopathologist or a dermatologist that is involved in, is experienced and has expertise to do this treatment. And post-treatment, you get this lumpy scar, which over time does heal, but that is what is the end outcome, a lumpy scar with the basal cell carcinoma removed. Our hope is, which is that if on that basal cell carcinoma, if we could apply our skin jet patch, which are these microarray needles, and deliver transdermally or through the skin the anti-cancer agent doxorubicin for over 3 visits. And if there is a successful outcome and it shows efficacy, we will just have a clean skin, which is represented in the 4th slide on this slideshow. So that is what we hope to achieve. Eliminate surgical intervention, eliminate a lumpy, bumpy scar, and in a minimally invasive way, come to a normal skin texture through use of our patch. So we find this to be a very exciting and a novel therapy and disruptive in the marketplace. If we can move on to the next slide. So far at SkinJet, we have already completed a phase 1 trial, which was also approved by the FDA. We completed this trial in March of 2021. In this trial, 13 patients were recruited in this trial, and of those 13 patients, 7 patients where we could not get dissolution of the needles or penetration of the needles, but in 6 patients, we had complete penetration of the needle in this over the basal cell carcinoma, and we also saw a complete clinical reaction and a clinical response, and the cancer was treated. So if I can go back to the previous slide, so in our phase 1 trial, which was a safety and a tolerability study of doxorubicin to demonstrate, because doxorubicin systemically has many side effects, so we had to demonstrate through a safety study that this is when injected transdermally, it does not cause any systemic side effects, which we did achieve. But also, we, in those 6 patients, were able to demonstrate that there was actually complete cure. So the cancer was not only was completely cured, and we had a normal skin, and I don't have an arrow to point out that would look like the 4th picture on this slide. So this small sample has been a very exciting discovery for us, that while we were actively, our objective was to achieve a safety and tolerability study, we were able to very quickly demonstrate also that there was efficacy. So this makes us very, very bullish, and gives us high confidence that the results of our phase 2 trial, we hope, would be very promising and statistically significant. We can go to the phase 2 trial. So we have an approved phase 2 trial. As I had mentioned, we plan to recruit, randomize anywhere from 60 to 100 patients. However, we have recently taken control of this company, and our pharma R&D team is looking at the clinical protocol that we have secured from the outgoing management and the pharma team, and we may amend it a little bit, but nonetheless, we have hope, and we expect to randomize our first patient sometime in Q1 of 2024. We have the funds available in hand to advance this trial forward. That was the objective for us to list on the Toronto Stock Exchange, which was a very exciting and a pleasing experience for all of us. So we can raise, I think we raised $6 million, and that is sufficient for us to advance the phase 2 trial. So we are looking forward to coming back to the market sometime in the later part of 2024, hopefully with positive data to report. I would go on the next slide. Want to quickly, we have hit the ground running. We are now nearly 1 month old since we completed the transaction and commenced trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange in October, but we have hit the ground running. We have certainly added a very distinguished board member. We can switch to the next slide. We have expanded our board by adding Barry Fishman to the board, a Canadian pharma executive who's formerly the CEO of Teva Pharmaceutical and also had C-suite position at Eli Lilly and other big pharma companies. We also announced inclusion of Dr. Huma Qamar that has joined and would lead our pharma R&D program and strengthen the efforts of Dr. Ed Brennan, who is a seasoned pharma executive. Clearly, we have a very experienced team, which is diverse and has the relevant experience. I have done this before. I've been in the healthcare life sciences space for nearly 30 years, with mostly a successful track record. So I very much welcome the opportunity that you have afforded me this afternoon to speak to your audience, and I will be happy to address any questions. Thank you so much for inviting me. Back over to you, Anna.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, Ignacio McKinney wants you to clarify, are you an incubator of biotech companies?
In sorts of a holding company. Incubator usually is reference to companies which are early stage, preclinical, or are in the lab. We are focused on acquiring companies which are relatively de-risked or are in clinical stage, so phase 2 ready for proof of concept. So an incubator nonetheless, but an incubator focused on clinical stage companies.
And Frank Trepicino says SkinJet has a worldwide license for the microneedles, but Carnegie Mellon University holds the patents. So what is a direct benefit to Medicus?
So Medicus is the owner of SkinJet. So we own, Medicus Pharma acquired SkinJet, and it is a wholly owned subsidiary. So the shareholders of Medicus Pharma are the owners of SkinJet. So the licensing right from Carnegie Mellon and University of Pittsburgh, which is with SkinJet, now is also with Medicus Pharma.
And is there an estimate when SkinJet phase 2 will be complete? Juan Vasquez wants to know.
I hope that sometime in the later part of 2024, we should be in a position to provide an update on the where the trial is and how much more time it would need to complete the trial. The phase 2 trial, which is an exciting piece of this, currently is envisioned to randomize no more than 60 to 100 patients. But this phase 2 trial may get expanded and become much bigger because we still need some engagement with the FDA and get some clarity. But our view is that this company may not need a phase 3 trial before it is ready for commercialization, because this is a new technology. There is no current non-invasive treatment available. So we may have to do a bigger phase 2 trial and then apply to the FDA to permit commercialization, so which is a good thing, because phase 3 trials are very expensive and they take a very long time. And if we get a waiver from doing a phase 3 trial, which is very likely because there's nothing to compare to, this is a good problem that we have, and we would hopefully come back sometime in Q2 of 2024 to provide an update to the market where we stand.
And Raphael asks, how quickly could SkinJet be adopted by the market to treat this once it's approved?
Well, our hope is that we would have some big pharma as a collaborating partner who are, that is their forte, who can commercialize and put boots on the ground and hit and make sales points to the dermatologists that would use us. We are experienced in running a clinical stage trials, mostly phase 2 trials, and maybe perhaps some form of phase 3. But as we get to a completion of a phase 2 trial, and in this case, there may not be a need of a phase 3 trial, we would hope that we would have finalized a collaboration with a big pharma player that operate in this space, and that will help us advance the commercialization and do it in a very efficient manner. I personally believe that its adoption should be quite rapid because it is an option to avoid surgical treatment, and it is less expensive.
Thank you for that. We have a question from Livia Ayers. You mentioned a complete cure. Was there any recurrence of the cancer after treatment? And can you explain how long the treatment is? So
the SkinJet treatment is that you have identified basal cell carcinoma through a biopsy, and you come into a doctor's office, and this doxorubicin loaded microneedles are applied on day 0 for 30 minutes. You go home and you come back after 7 days. Another patch is patch number 2 is applied for 30 minutes, and you return on day 14. And then a third patch is applied for 30 minutes. And then you come back on day 21, and the hope is that the cancer has been cured and there is normal skin. If that does not happen, then you still have, usually it takes about, if today you were to schedule a surgical or most surgical procedure, it's about 6-7 weeks is the average time before you get an appointment. So if you are cured, well, on the 3rd week, you have nothing further to do. But if somehow the patch has not worked, you go on to get this definitive treatment and get it surgically excised. To a question, does basal cell carcinoma recur? Yes, it does. May not be in the same place, but it would appear in other parts of the body and on the skin. And that is where the value proposition is, that because basal cell carcinoma is a carcinoma in the aging population. And when you have multiple appearances of basal cell carcinoma of the skin in various areas of the body, and every time you keep on getting it surgically excised, well, there are these holes and bumps and lumps that go across your entire body. So that is why I believe SkinJet also even have a more value proposition from an aesthetic perspective, besides the ease of use and non-invasiveness, that every time it recurs in another place, you again go through the process of using the patch once this is approved by the FDA for commercialization. I hope I addressed the question.
I'm sure you did. Thank you for that. Kyle McAvoy asks, how many other products do you have in development and through any subsidiaries?
So currently, what we have acquired is SkinJet. We are looking to build our pipeline through acquisition of other clinical stage assets. We have some targets. We are not in a position to disclose, and they are not at a level where they are mature, at a mature stage to make any disclosures. But our hope is that we should be able to announce at least 1 to 2 acquisitions every year. So sometime this year when we meet, I hope that we would have some very promising progress to report on SkinJet, and hopefully have an opportunity to speak about 1 or 2 more companies which are in our pipeline or have come in our pipeline. I would just, in the end, add very quickly that SkinJet by itself, while its current approval is for basal cell carcinoma, but the licensing rights are for use of microarray needles to treat all skin cancers, including or other skin cancers, including squamous cell carcinoma and other conditions which are related to the skin. So we are also looking into also maybe filing an IND to also treat squamous cell carcinoma also, which is another opportunity. So there are more than few things which are actively at work. Certainly, we have hit the ground running and working nights and weekends to advance forward our objectives.
Dayton Morrison wants to know, any talks on a NASDAQ listing?
It is our hope that this is a 1,000-mile journey in capital markets. We have taken the first important and momentous step to list on Toronto Stock Exchange. At the Venture Exchange, our hope is that we very quickly graduate to the big board on TSX, and as we fulfill milestones of getting a market cap which is in excess of $75 million, and at that point we are able to cross-list on NASDAQ. And that is what our hope is. I have done that once before quite successfully, and I hope to do this again. We were very honored and excited to open the markets on October 26th at Toronto Stock Exchange. They were very welcoming and very warm. And we hope that we are able to do that on NASDAQ after at least 1 year anniversary. We do have to wait for 12 months and at least have to get up to 75 million in market cap.
Sheldon asks, is there another stage that must be completed for the product to be approved by insurance companies once commercialized? He also wants to know, what's the cost of the SkinJet treatment versus other treatments out there?
Well, very good question, and I appreciate that. Currently, the Mohs surgery, which is the standard of care, the cost of doing Mohs surgery, I think, ranges between $1,500 to $2,000 in insurance reimbursement in the United States. SkinJet cost is below $1,000, and I think it's projected that it would somewhere be $500 to $600. These things are, as you advance the clinical trial and the probability of success. Currently, our probability of success is between, I think, 10 to 30%. Once you have advanced the phase 2 trial, the probability of success, I think, crosses 70% or so to commercialization. And when you get at that stage, you begin to negotiate with insurance payers that this becomes an approved procedure and is something that is reimbursed. So there are many steps to that, but I hope that that part will be done by our collaborating partner, there is is big pharma, because they are good at this. Our core competence and focus is to advance clinical trials, and we hope that we will find some very good partners that would focus on delivering on all of those very important milestones, especially the reimbursement piece. But the end outcome is that if this is commercialized, it saves about $1,000 per patient, costs less and is more efficient than what the current treatment plan is.
Last question for you, Doctor. You had a recent raise of $6 million, but how are you currently capitalized? And can you give assurance of your ability to continue financing your burn?
Absolutely. That is what our objective is. As a pharma drug development company, we are perpetually in fundraising mode in an orderly fashion and an optimum valuation. We currently have funds in hand that should carry us through the next 7 or 8 quarters. That is, I think, what we had disclosed in our prospectus. And we are actively engaged to speak with institutions and others that would be keen to invest as we continue to advance our milestones. So our hope is to continue to raise capital. If my past performance is in any way is an indicator, the last time I was at this stage, where I began with $5 million in about next year and a half, 2 years, I had raised an additional nearly $100 million through institutional raise. So we hope that we are able to create some of that, though the market conditions are different. The biotech sector is not that popular, but where there's a will, there's a way. So we are excited to advance forward our objectives.
Perfect. Thank you, Doctor, so much for joining us. We would love to have you on in the future with some updates. We really appreciate it.
Thank you once again, Anna, for having me on your conference and allowing us an opportunity to speak about Medicus Pharma. And thank you again.
You're so welcome. Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, everyone, stay with us. Singulate Inc. was scheduled to be at this time, but we are going to have them come back on in December. They had to push for December. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with Loop Industries at 2:55 Eastern. We'll see you then.